Today, we're spilling the tea on viral brews and why your snooze button hates your ambition and how Super Bowl ad guy ended up obsessed with homemade cleaners. Yep, this is the start of the day. This is Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends and producer Jimmy. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where
when something negative comes up,
building muscle improves blood flow
from squirting to squirreling.
Start small, build up, and expand from there.
Be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? That's
And there we go. We're playing some violin karaoke this morning on today's live morning show, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, baby. Here we go. Yeah, we're loading up with some real talk, motivating content, and some of the most entertaining conversations you'll find anywhere before noon. Oh yeah, this is an R-rated experience. I was just going to drop the F-bomb, Jimmy, but I reminded myself that I haven't told the audience this is an R-rated experience. I think the guy in our room over here might drop an F-bomb. Jimmy, I got a feeling Catone might drop an F-bomb once or twice. So yes, Joe, you can drop an F-bomb on the show. Coming up, Joe Quattrone, ad guy, getting to big conversation. We're going to dive into why men should believe in remote work. Oh, you should? Jimmy, I didn't write this. Did you write this shit, man? And why it could save your sanity, plus the science and secrets behind Blackwood tea. Yes, miracle or myth. We're talking Blackwood tea this morning on Mornings Live with Keith and friends. We're also going to get personal, like I said, on center stage with, I still love this tune with Joe Quattrone, whose wild ride in brand building took him from Super Bowl ads to homemade cleaning products, because business can pivot. Absolutely. Then we're going to reveal some hidden fantasy. Oh, Jimmy, we're talking fantasies. Talking fantasies. Here we go. Yeah, we're talking what happens when you go to a doctor's visit and you have a sexual fantasy. It happens. Oh, it happens. I found some studies where it actually happens. Good morning, No Neg Soul Hat. Good morning, Holroyd. I got your number, brother. I appreciate that. Good morning, 6 to 9, Vander Toll. I'm going to say hi. If I see this, I say hi. You say hi back to me. And listen, this is the only morning show getting after every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, over there on Substack, and we're going to be launching on Kick pretty soon. What's up, bro? What's up, No Neg? Yes. All right, I'm going to shoot you a text later today, brother. Let's catch up over the weekend. I'm looking forward to saying hi. All right, so I'm going to keep going through my opening notes here. We're going to reveal some hidden fantasies triggered by your routine doctor visit coming up later on the hour. Just imagine it. You're at the doctor, Jimmy, and you're just all fantasizing about your doctor. I think it happens. We're going to break down how protein plus resistance training can help you lose fat while eating more. John's like, well, shit, yeah, no kidding. John's whole philosophy is that, Jimmy. Yes. So guys, eat more protein, do some more lifting, going to help you lose fat. Notice I didn't say lose weight. No, we're here about losing fat on our show. You want to lose weight, be skinny fat? That's great. Go to a different show. We want you to help lose fat, body fat. And guys, listen, don't forget the important stuff. What's the important stuff, you wonder? That beat right there. Yeah. Smash, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Like I said, this is an R-rated experience. And guys, here is the big kicker. Here is the big motherfucking kicker. This show is built to help you guys not hit the snooze button. Yeah, true story. You hit the snooze button, you're 9 minutes behind the guy that didn't. I'm suspecting, Jimmy, I'm pretty suspecting that Joe Quattrone did not hit the snooze button today. Because if he hit it, he probably would have been late today. And you know how some of our guests are late? Well, I'm thinking Catone didn't hit the snooze button. If you're 9 minutes hitting that snooze button, you're 9 minutes behind the guy that didn't. You do it all year, you're 2.5 weeks behind. We are here as your daily live accountability partner for live morning conversation, beginning right now. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends and my good brother from another mother. I believe, Jimmy, he showed up a year ago and he hasn't left. Let's bring in the young man himself. Who's the young man? Oh, is it Jimmy? No, it's John Anderson. What's going on, pal? How are you today?
What's up, brother? How are you? I got to help. I'm hearing myself.
Dude.
You hear an echo?
No, I'm oh, Johnny, you're only on vertical right now, pal. You must be half asleep.
That's the problem.
You forgot your horizontal feed. Hey, Jimmy.
I'm in.
No, you're not. We don't see you on horizontal as well. We don't.
I went in on vertical.
All right, guys. So we have a new person showing up, figuring out the tech, and it's not Catone. It's my co-host. He's just learning how to press the buttons. I got to tell a funny story while Johnny's getting all settled up here on the show here while I get my music rolling here this morning. So, I think Jimmy, it was about a year ago. I think it was actually a year ago where, I see him there, Jimmy. He's twice on vertical. Yeah, I know he'll figure it out. He's, oh my goodness, this is fun this morning with my brother Johnny. I think it was about, there it is. There's some tunes for my ears. I need the good morning, Roofy. What's good, Noah? What's good on you? 69 Vaynerchuk. I see you there in the comments as well. This is a Friday in the lab, the morning loop. And I see John's getting himself sorted out on the horizontal. Jimmy, I got to wait to tell the story until I know John can absolutely hear me as he's struggling with the buttons there. Listen, it was about a year ago. I think it was a year ago where Marty and I were doing the show. And we had a young man on the show named John Anderson. Yeah. World's strongest man, world wrestler, world bodybuilder. And I had him on Live in the Lab earlier on in the year. And I see him frantically pressing the buttons over there, Jimmy. And so I said, hey, why don't you come join me and Marty on the show? So a year ago, I think it was last Friday in May, actually, Anderson shows up, joins the show with me. And it's a wonderful conversation. Me, John, Marty, great conversation, great show. Everything's awesome. Show ends. I get a text from some young man named John Anderson. He's like, hey. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yes, Uncle John. Uncle Keith here, the old handsome chief. He's like, I really enjoyed my time on the show with you today. I said, yeah, me too. He's like, I thought there was a vibe going on there. I said, yeah, me too. I just thought there was some energy going on there. I said, yeah, me too. And he says to me, it's like, I find that I perform quite well in a live environment. I said, yeah, me too. He's like, I wouldn't mind being around and being a part of that little, every now and then. I'm like, okay, yeah. Like, what are you thinking? You want to do a segment? You want to jump in for a week here, a week there? Like, what are you thinking about? He's like, oh, I don't know. I tend to operate very well when I'm in a regular routine. I'm like, okay, so like, what? Do you want to go once a week, once every Friday? He's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll come on Monday and I'll hang out with you and Marty and we'll see how it goes. Like, okay. So Johnny shows up on the first Monday in June. And I'm pleased to say, Nation, that Johnny hasn't left. Johnny is still here today, a year later. Johnny, I'm celebrating your anniversary, brother. I'm pretty certain.
It's today?
I'm pretty certain a year ago you showed up and I got the text from you later on in the afternoon saying, hey, brother, I had a lot of fun. We chatted. And I was like, yeah, why don't you come back? And then you showed up and you haven't left. And I love you for it every minute, man. It's awesome. It's been so awesome.
Let me tell a quick story about that. So anytime I find, and you're obviously the highlight of the story, anytime I find something that I stumble across that I feel is, I guess it's when I can sense that there's something bigger to it. Does that make sense? It's a morning 100%. Show. What is the fucking thing?
Yeah.
It's number one, is speaking my language, but number two, the idea is on a grand scale to help kind of our floundering male society.
Yes.
Not just keep their head above water, learn to fucking swim.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? This is something that inspires me.
Yeah.
And I search for things, and I shouldn't say search. This is the wrong word. That shows lack. I keep my ears wide open for things that inspire me. And when I find something that inspires me, I have to look into it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did with you. And then I realized, okay, this is something that I'm feeling, and this is something I want to be a part of. And here we are.
Well, I appreciate it. And I know you called me the nutty little son of a bitch when you first met me, and you dropped it every now and then, and we keep our chatter going. And I just said to you yesterday with my message yesterday after the show, dude, we love our brother Marty. Marty's got life going on right now. Marty always has a seat at the table. But I got to tell you, man, the chemistry rolling right now with the two of us, the show, the momentum, the energy, the back and forth. I feel like when I'm talking, you know what I'm talking. I know you're the cut-ins. Josh Kalinowski yesterday says, man, you and John look like you guys more as working forever. I go, fuck, it's been less than a year. He's like, wow, man, the chemistry you guys have. By the way, I gave Kalinowski your number. Dude, what a ghost, man. I had a great chat with him yesterday. So we had a great chat yesterday as well. But hey, man, I thought I'd have some fun with you this morning because I think we got to do a better job of this.
Are you going to ask to play with me?
Yeah, let's play with you. Let me play.
Yeah, play with me, John.
Play with me, John, because I want to play with our guest in the green room. Because I got to tell you, man, I was coming to the lab this morning and I said to myself,
hold on. Joe, don't let him play with you. That's not.
Well, no. I need you to play with me in regarding our guest, because here's the best part of the show: the guest in the green room, and he can't come in and he can't respond for himself. But I said to Jimmy, I'm like, so. Think our guest showing up today? He's like, I think the guest's going to show up. I said, I don't know. Think he's going to figure out the tech? I'm like, I don't know. Sure enough, Johnny, I show up in the lab this morning. The guy's in both rooms, ready to go. He got here before you got here. I'm telling you. So I'm going
to say, looking at Joe right now.
Yeah. All right. What's your bet on? What's the bet on the horse?
Yeah, I'm betting on this one, Joe. I'm betting on you, babe. Yeah. I'm betting on you. Get in here. Get in here straight. Even though I fucked it up this morning. Jesus Christ.
I think this might be.
Damn it.
I think this might be a new segment on the show where Keith and Johnny bet on the guest in the green room.
Absolutely, guys. That's it. It's like going to the track, man. All you do is you get to see that fucking horse walk in front of you. That's all you get to see. Let's look at the motherfucker. You know,
some of them might be losers, some of them might be winners. But
hey, dude, the crazy thing when I would do that, I would always bet on the big fucking muscular horse, and he'd get out of the gate hard. He'd run out of steam every fucking time. You can't help it.
Good morning, Lady Drew Boger. I see in the comments there, Lady Drew's got a question for Johnny. And Johnny, because Lady Drew's one of our paying members, this is a free morning show, and Keith and Johnny are not looking to line our pockets. We're looking to reinvest back into the community. We got 3 levels, $2, $10, $20. I invite you guys to join the community, join the lab, and we've got a bunch of great things coming throughout the year and throughout the rest of the time. But Lady Drew left a comment. Johnny, how did you and Terry's pickleball game go yesterday? And say, hold on, beforehand, this is what I love and what I want with this community. This is about you guys, right? So as you guys engage with us, we engage you all together. So question from the community, Johnny, how was your pickleball game yesterday?
It was killer, man.
Yeah,
it was actually really good. One of our friends came. So her name is Lori. So she was on the other side with Terry. So I actually, because they were going to stay longer than me, because I had a Zoom I needed to get to with clients. So basically them on the other side, it was great, man. Oh my God. I literally got home and I was completely wet, just soaking.
Was this like a Hulk Hogan, like one of those old matches where it was Hulk versus 2 wrestlers? Was it Johnny versus Terry and her friend?
Yeah, but it's not. This is like, let's keep the ball alive. It's a different level of play here. It's not. And even like with Lori, she's not a great player, as she says, but I keep fucking just slapping her meatball, so she give it back to me. I'm Jesus Christ, Lori. Every time I give you a meatball, you fucking spike it on me. Do I need to be ripping you with the ball too? She's okay. I get it now. I'll keep. So it was just that if you get that ball going back and forth 30 times, you're catching some wind. Yeah, and that's what I enjoy. The pickleball is a fast, short game. It's a cool game, but I like to play it the way I like to play it. Kind of the way I like to do everything in my life. I have my own version.
Yes, yeah. Johnny likes to smack the meatball, Jimmy, not the meat. So at least he was smacking the meatball yesterday, playing some pickleball. Hey, Johnny, I got something funny for you, brother. Have you ever left
but I'm playing again today, just to keep it going.
Okay. Yes. I was looking for the handicap match. Hulk Hogan was famous for the handicap matches. It was 2 wrestlers always against Hogan. Always. It was like the buildup is. It was like. Did you ever do a handicap match?
I think every big guy's done a handicap.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. Yeah, because that's how you put over the big guy, right?
Mean, at one point, I think I was in the ring with like 6 dudes, and it's so fucking goofy because it gets that I come out, the bell rings and I come out and I'm just fucking bam, bam, knocking people down, and they're fucking getting up, and then I think I got them down, so then I push the one guy that I really don't like in the corner to get ready to tune him up. All the other guys come and they fucking grab me and they like. Somehow are holding me down in the middle of the ring, and then I explode up, and they all go fucking jump. It's so fucking cool.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Hey, have you ever left a doctor's appointment with more than just health advice? Well, dude, I found an intriguing little story yesterday, Johnny, about the world of medical fetishes. how routine medical care unexpectedly transforms some people into sexual fantasies. Yeah. So understanding this,
I could see that.
yeah. So no, and we're not talking about the female going there and seeing the hot doctor. We're not seeing the man there going and seeing the hot nurse. We're talking about medical fetishism, often called medfet. Involves.
Okay, maybe I'm not following this one, so keep going.
Neither was I until I found this ridiculous thing.
I was thinking you got some great looking lady doctor. He comes in there and all of a sudden opens up her jacket. She's got no drawers on. I'm thinking, this might be fun.
Oh, were you reading Cherry magazine last night?
No, but I mean, let's think about it. A teacher, it's a teacher, some woman of power when you're young. 100%. Those are so attractive.
Yes.
Even like friends' moms were attractive to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
God damn it. Long before there was a MILF,
That's right. Yeah. You had Stacy's mom who had it going on. Stacy's mom had it going on there. So medical fetishism, Johnny, often called medfet, involves sexual pleasure derived from medical scenarios, equipment, or procedures. And this research suggests that
is this for a male or a female?
Both. Yeah, suggesting severe psychological mechanisms, conditioning, repeated emotional responses like fear relief during medical procedures can create these erotic associations. And then you talked about power. The inherent authority and vulnerability within medical scenarios can enhance erotic feelings. And then, Johnny, there's the nurturing and personal attention involved in healthcare that can become sexually charged. The reality is this. There's these studies that debate whether such fetishes might be considered a form of iatrogenic sexual disorder, meaning that they're unintentionally caused by healthcare experiences, or somebody is intentionally deriving sexual pleasure from these innocuous experiences when they go to the doctor. But the reality is, people have undiscovered fantasies and unexpected fantasies that stem from everyday experiences. And I was just frankly fascinated by it, brother. Yeah, that was kind of neat.
When it comes down to it, I mean, like I've had some really interesting conversations with girls in the past about fantasies and shit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And some of the stuff that they were like severely aroused from was surprising.
Yes.
Like I had a girlfriend, not for very long, but she was, I guess he was just a woman I was involved in. How's that?
Yeah.
She fantasized about having sex with a dog, a canine. That turned her on like big time. She was very embarrassed to spit it out, but I was like, whoa. I mean, I didn't see that one coming for sure. I mean, she also really had this love for dogs, like her love for dogs.
Oh, there you go.
Crazy, So I think there was some of the intimate thing too, but I was like, well, I didn't see that one coming, because she's like, well, it's an animal. And I'm thinking, well, fuck, that's a pretty broad fucking category, We
got Matthew Roof tuning in right now. I can see him just listening away. And then all of a sudden, boom. And he's like, wow, that escalated quickly. We're going from sexual fetishes to a girl wanting to have sex with a dog. There you go. Bestiality.
Well, that's what keeps this shit interesting.
That's exactly what keeps. I'll tell you what keeps it interesting. Johnny, what do you get when you mix Super Bowl commercials, Gary Vee, and a homegrown cleaning product made in someone's garage? Well, I know.
Did you know I was actually on a Super Bowl commercial? 2006. I was in a Super Bowl commercial.
Son of a bitch. Well, listen, let's get back to that with Catone, because Joe Quattrone did some Super Bowl stuff. We're going to meet Joe Quattrone, a brand mastermind who's gone from big budget campaigns to big dreams and small business. Let's do the accountability check-in. Let's bring in Joe, and let's learn about Joe's business, and let's learn about why you were in a Super Bowl campaign. Maybe you were in Joe's Super Bowl campaign. Who knows?
Wouldn't that be a small world? Holy shit.
No shit.
Joe, do you have any association with ESPN, brother? Because if you did, and it was 2006, I can't imagine we weren't in the same crew.
That's it. We got Fit Presenter. Come for the remote work. Stay for the bestiality. That's exactly it. We're going to get into some remote work conversation later on in the show.
Well, but think about this, brother. When we were talking about what do we want this thing to be, one of the things that we were talking about was like bringing back the vibe of Stern.
100%, right? Man. The circus.
And basically why people listen to Stern was one simple fucking reason. what is this motherfucker gonna say next?
Never know what's coming up next. And the first 15 minutes,
I think we're getting some traction on that, baby.
Brother, we are. The Morning Loop, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. The first 13 minutes, you never know what's going to come out of Billis's and Anderson's mouth, or out of our ass, or who knows? Just it's going to come out of something. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. We're getting into the accountability check-in. As I click my buttons, Jimmy, why I stopped asking for help. Yeah, there's a true story. Yeah, speaking of true stories, hey, Monday the store's opening up, you guys. I got a true story hat. I got a potential over purpose hat. We got the sticker, the Mornings in the Lab sticker. Store opens Monday. Why I stopped asking for help. You ever notice how people flinch when you say, can you help me? Or how you feel that mini eye roll creep in when someone asks you that? I never really thought about it until Mark Moyer, what's going on, Mark, friend of the lab, said it on Live in the Lab. He pointed out that asking for help triggers people's defenses. It feels heavy, like a burden, like you're about to ask them to carry a couch up 5 flights of stairs. Hey, you want to help me move? Who the fuck wants to help somebody move? But when you ask for advice, think about it, guys. You're not offloading a problem. You're actually opening up a conversation. So instead of putting someone on the spot, you're giving them a chance to share what they know. Think about it. Can you help me? All of a sudden, oh, what do they need help with? But when you say to somebody, can I get your advice? All of a sudden they open up. Sure, I want to give you my advice. You're stroking their ego. Most people love that. It's not, can you do this for me? It's, how would you think about this? Think about reframing that, you guys. Think about reframing that. There's a big difference. Advice invites someone in. It makes them feel useful. It makes you feel less needy and more open to learn. That shift matters, especially for us men, because asking for help, it feels weak. But asking for advice says, I trust your experience. Please teach me, tell me more. So if the word help makes you hesitate, I invite you, nation, to ask for advice instead and watch the magic happen. It's still vulnerable, it's still real, but it lands better on both ends. Advice or help? Ask for advice. And helping someone move is an uncommon, kind gesture. That's exactly what Matthew Roof did this week, helping out some family. Lady Drew, it's so true. It's so true. Ask for advice instead of help. Advice opens up the person across the room from you. Help makes them run away. You want to help me move, Roofy? He's like, no, I don't want to fucking help you move, but I'll give you my advice. The advice is call a moving company. That's the advice Roofy's giving next time his family calls him for help. He's like, help? No, I'm giving you the fucking roofing company. All right, welcome back to Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. We're going to do this here. All right, here we go. Welcome back. Today's guest is Joe Quattrone, a marketing veteran with nearly 20 years of experience, from driving digital strategy for Audi and Jaguar to building brands under the guidance of Gary Vaynerchuk at VaynerMedia. Now, as the founder of Catone Brands and fractional CMO, he's helping small business owners scale up with soul. But here's the twist. He just filed a patent for a cleaning product inspired by his wife's obsession with intentional ingredients. Whoa. And he's manufacturing it from home. Today, we're diving into marketing myths, entrepreneurial pivots, and how storytelling and scripture are still the most powerful tools in the game. Morning. Let's get after it, Jimmy. Let's bring in our guest, Joe Quattrone. What's up, Joe?
Joe, what's up, baby? How are you, Joe?
How are you, Joe? We got you muted on vertical, Joe. We want to get you unmuted on the vertical there, pal.
So switch your tab. Go to the other tab. God damn it, Joe. I lost the bet. Son of a bitch.
Did he
Almost had it.
There he goes. There he goes. What's going on, pal? Welcome to the show this morning.
You missed my F-bomb. I came in hot.
No, we heard it. We only half the audience heard it, though, because it was only on one of the strings.
Fuck. I wanted to be a world record holder of fastest F-bomb on your show.
I love it. Joe, first of all, where are you joining us from today, brother? Where are you joining us from today?
I'm just south of Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh,
in,
wonderful.
Williamson County. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out with us on the show this morning. I'm really pleased to have you here today. You are... Dude, you got some interesting stuff going on here. Super Bowl stuff, cleaning alternatives, a lot of crazy shit. You've gone from beer and cars to bleach alternatives. Like, man, like I don't have a lot of guests that kind of have that shift, Joe Quattrone.
And weed. I also have dabbled in cannabis marketing as well.
There you go. So where did that fit into the? You got a cannabis enthusiast over here. Where did that fit into the journey, Joe?
More recently, actually, after I left VaynerMedia, I had already been kind of 5 or 6 years sober. I stopped drinking alcohol in 2018, leaving VaynerMedia, I was kind of free to kind of pursue whatever opportunities I wanted to, kind of make my own way, find my own, new business clients from a consulting perspective. And funny enough, I was working with a buddy of mine, JM, lifelong friend, and he too was on a sobriety journey from alcohol. And both of us were open-minded to other stuff outside of alcohol. We just didn't want to drink alcohol itself. And that brought us to cannabis. And we actually wound up developing a product that's actually no longer I wouldn't say no longer in business. It pivoted as well. It's this brand called Fuzzy. Originally, Fuzzy was a cannabis-infused seltzer brand, but we've since pivoted into a sparkling functional coffee beverage. And that was just our whole mantra.
It's a cannabis-infused sparkling coffee beverage. Is that right?
No, it originally was cannabis-infused seltzer water brand, like a fizzy seltzer cannabis brand. But we took the cannabis out because of all the regulation nonsense and all the how long it was taking to bring federal legalization to market. So we just pivoted into the coffee space, the cold brew space. But our unique thing with this one is that we left the bubbles in. So it's a unique beverage on the market because there's not a lot of coffee cold brews on the market that have bubbles in them. And we wound up, instead of putting in the cannabis, we were always going to do trace amounts of cannabis anyway, mostly from a microdosing and functional benefit perspective. So instead we've added in more kind of like functional mushrooms and stuff like that.
Dude, you're just mixing it up, man. Yeah, I love it. Joe, so when I invited you on the show and, as we do our homework and we look for, guests within our ICP and our audience and doing great things, it wasn't lost upon me that you have this emphasis on helping good people scale good, reflecting a values first marketing style. And I got to tell you, man, it's very much a Keith and Johnny mentality about good, about moving good and positive energy and so forth. Mm-hmm. Joe, that's rare in a hustle heavy business world. So, Keith and Johnny are swimming upstream every single day against all the other salmon. You got the two little men here just going up the stream while Johnny's the big guy, and we're going up against everybody. I got to think. Hold
on. I just want to jump in real quick, brother. Everybody else perceives it being upstream.
Yes.
It's actually downstream. Once you get here, you're not fucking struggling.
That's a fair comment. So let's play it to Joe. Because Joe, I'm suspecting what you're doing, helping good people scale good in a world of negative bullshit everywhere. Dude, you're the lone gunman. Am I correct?
I would say I'm the lone gunman.
Stand out, or is that how you stand out?
I think there's a renegade, group of people out there that all want to do the same stuff. And the funny thing is, you all kind of find each other.
Yeah.
But
very true. Very true.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where I've spent enough time around the evil empire. I've worked with Fortune 500 brands, and I see how profit driven they are and stuff like that, and how they're designed to fuck people over versus actually doing good in the world. So I made sure when I was going out on my own and I could make my own choices and I wasn't beholden by some company that, was trying to grow their bottom line, that I made good choices. And, I happen to be a born again Christian. So I consider this my version of marketplace ministry. I'm a Christian, but at the same time, I don't go to church, which is a really interesting dichotomy.
Listen, I so agree with that, but that's how I started off. My first real belief was Christianity. That was like where because I always say belief is a skill. And if you can believe in a higher power, you're going to believe in yourself. It's easier to believe in yourself, but I was so the same way. I had very, very strong faith, but I didn't feel like I needed to show up, and take a drink off the cup or eat a cracker to prove it.
Yeah, and so this is the reason I call it marketplace ministry is just that I'm not going
What's
to
so
church.
funny about that, Keith? What's so funny? Did I miss something here?
You have to eat a cracker. I was just at Brooks Communion 2 weeks ago, and I was laughing. They're eating the fucking cardboard, eating the cracker. That whole thing just makes me laugh.
Jesus Christ, you're walking up there, and the dude's holding the cup, right? somebody takes a swig and he wipes it with a
I
fucking
know.
rag.
Don't
And
even
I'm like, if somebody's got the fucking flu in here, we're all going down like this is going to spread in here like a fucking wet blanket.
How come nobody's having that conversation? My wife hates germs, yet we're quick to go to church and we're all quick to eat out of the same fucking cup. And nobody talks about it.
But see, it's fucking crazy because I think to myself, why are there not like flus just spreading through these? Because there's sometimes you get the flu just by like walking into a room. My thought is, what the fuck has he got in that rag to keeping that thing disinfected?
It's just Lysol. Sorry, Joe. Keith and Johnny had to have a moment there.
I'll have to give
We get our little side tangents are too fun, you know.
Yeah. Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I'll have to give the priest some of this Miss Leanne so he can tune it with low ingredients. But
that's cannabis oil in there.
well, not really, but yeah. I mean, I think that was kind of my idea of marketplace ministry. Because I'm not going to church tithing, my income into a broader Christian community. I was always looking for ways to give back, and that was one of the things. Finding CEOs that want to do good in the world and helping them scale. Or in the case of some of these products that I'm either invested in, partnered in, or creating from scratch. Making sure that they are designed to do just that as well.
Yeah, you're hanging out with Keith and John Anderson.
Let's shift gears to the Super Bowl. I'm curious to see if there's some connection there.
Yeah, so let's go there. So 9 Super Bowl campaigns, Joe. Any behind-the-scenes stories that totally blew your mind? And tell us about how your first one all the way to your 9th one. Let's talk Super Bowl, and then we want to get Johnny's 2006 Super Bowl story in here too.
Were you involved in 2006? Was that one of the years?
No, I was in graduate school in 2006. I got out in 2008, and that just kind of kicked things off. The first part of my career, essentially, the first 10 years of my career, was spent in automotive marketing. And then beer marketing. So as you can imagine, when you watch the Super Bowl, there's a lot of cars and a lot of beer in it, right? Okay. There's two of the biggest categories of spenders in Super Bowl marketing. I was actually working in social media at the time. I'm one of the few people in the world that's worked at an enterprise level in social media for major companies since that day, 2008, when there was very little going on. That was basically Facebook.
I started a social media company before Vaynerchuk did and sold it for millions of dollars. I grew up with Vaynerchuk, actually.
There you go.
He's trying to,
But anyways, yeah, I'll go.
He doesn't want to suck his own dick. So I'll air him out. $50 million he sold it for.
Wow.
So I've been around the Super Bowl. I've been around the social media game with you, Quattrone. That's why I wear a hat to cover all my old gray hair there. But
there you go.
Let's keep going with the Super Bowl.
Hold on. I just got to go back to that. You know how close I was? I was so close to saying this. It blew my mind. And thank God. But now, because it was so close, I have to say it now. So I was trying to give Keith some props. And I was going to say, he's not going to suck his own dick, so I'm going to suck it for him. I almost said that. Oh, my God.
Gross.
Jesus Christ. I mean, brother, we're spending too much time together here, brother.
I said we have chemistry. I'm feeling the love now, Anderson. I'm feeling the love.
Yeah,
so, Joe, talk to us about the campaigns from 1 till 9, all that money being spent by automotive industries and so forth. Like, keep that going, brother.
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting. I think my favorite one was probably the least social of all of them, but the most interesting from a creative standpoint. It was where the R8 came out. The Audi R8 was one of the first vehicles I ever worked on, and we did a Godfather reference where we dropped a Mercedes grill in the guy's bed, and we actually hired the guy from the Godfather to be in the spot. Yeah. That was great. I remember
that commercial.
It was titled Horsehead, but that was really kind of before social media as an apparatus around the Super Bowl really took off. I'd say where it really kind of started taking off for us was, first we had a Super Bowl spot called Green Police, which it was like the year after that. And it was when they were trying to launch their clean diesel products, and there wasn't enough research that went into the Super Bowl spot in advance. That's why they named it Green Police. If you just do a couple quick Google searches, you'll realize that Green Police was the name of the Gestapo in Germany during World War II. Yeah. And Audi was a German company that was actually financed by the CC and Adolf Hitler. So we had to go in, like my team had to go in and actually perform something that I have kind of like looking back, I lovingly call search engine de-optimization, where we essentially, in the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, we had to flood the market with a bunch of positive blog posts so that people would never find. There was one Canadian blogger named, I think, Danny Brown or something like that. He picked up on it and he was talking about it, and we had to drown his voice out so it wouldn't become a catastrophe for the brand on Super Bowl Sunday. That was really where I realized, shit was about to hit the fan. A couple of years later, my team was involved in the first ever hashtag on a Super Bowl spot. Hashtag Progress was another, that was A4 commercial that we did. And that really set a trend that still exists today. Like most brands, I'd say 60-70% of brands are either using a hashtag or some sort of social CTA on the back of a Super Bowl spot. So you can thank Audi for that. And I've just been, and then, switching into the beer realm, we did a lot of cool things for Budweiser and brands like that during my years. Bud Light, I can remember a lot of stuff we did for Bud Light. The one that stands out.
Just to interrupt real quick. This is such a trip to hear. We are like literally getting a tour behind the fucking curtain right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm loving it. Keep going. I love it.
This is like, whoa. This fucking, if someone was to say this, didn't know, oh, stop being a fucking conspiracy theorist. It's just a commercial, No. This when there's this much money involved, it's heavy hitting shit.
Yes.
Before I get to Budweiser, I did a detour on Jaguar when I was in the media side. I worked at a company that was an ad agency that focused on media supporting the brands, and I did Jaguar for 1 year. That 1 year that I worked on the Jaguar brand, we did a commercial for the F-Type coupe, which was their first release of a coupe like that since the 70s when Jaguar was really renowned for that. Yeah. And our campaign was called British Villains. And we used Tom Hiddleston and Sir Ben Kingsley and a bunch of British bad guys. And the insight there was that for some reason in movie lore, movie history, all of the bad guys are always British. So instead of like moving away from that, we wanted to lean in on that because we thought being a little bit of a badass was a cool thing in the context of hot muscle cars and stuff like that. Yeah. And so my contribution to that was in the run up to the Super Bowl, similar to the search engine de-optimization that we did perform for Audi a few years before that. My insight to the Jaguar brand was like, look, your reputation has been garbage for the past like 10, 20 years. And you've been squeaky clean, old money, old luxury. Nobody's going to believe that all of a sudden you show up on Super Bowl Sunday and you're the bad boy now. So I was like, we need to get that train started at like the L.A. Auto Show in November. And we need to we need to go full Kanye. And this was before Kanye went Kanye. We need to figure out how. When
you say November, you're talking about just 3 months ahead.
I'm sticking the same thing, John. Yeah.
You're
going to change that much of a, I guess you're going to give it a facelift. That fucking
the strategy was to make people feel like somebody hacked our Twitter account and we were going crazy. Because we felt it was easier. We felt like it was easier for people to believe some shenanigans were going to happen on Super Bowl Sunday.
Something crazy going on.
If we started early and we went kind of full Kanye. And that's what we did. We went crazy. We started doing weird stuff. We started posting weird stuff. And then on Super Bowl Sunday, my whole just because I'd already worked in so many like war rooms and constructed so many war rooms, I kind of knew the volume. Like talking about behind the scenes, one thing most people don't realize is if you have a TV spot in the Super Bowl and you're sitting in your room with all your compadres, you're looking at TweetDeck or Hootsuite or whatever you have up.
Yeah.
There's like a stream of millions of tweets that go bananas once your commercial airs. You start trending on Twitter, and then the stream is going absolutely ballistic, so fast. Yeah. And so my strategy there was like to own the conversation on game day was to isolate, figure out the tech. So we had to have multiple screens. We had it was like an $80,000 setup to mine the conversation and look for the most influential commenters and respond within a couple of hours to like the top 250 people that were posting about Jaguar. And because we focused more than any other brand, we wound up actually like winning a lot of the like ancillary competition, like the ad scrimmage from Twitter, which is that poster back there. A bunch of people, a bunch of influencers were talking about the brand, and we really engaged them and started building a conversation that lasted far beyond the Super Bowl, which is why it led to us winning a silver Effie for that campaign. So that was interesting. Budweiser, I'll tell one quick Budweiser story and then I'll move on from there. But Budweiser was interesting because it was in an era where, the Clydesdales always reign supreme. Everybody wants to know what we're doing with those damn horses. And for 1 year, the clients and the creative agency that did the Super Bowl commercials decided to not do a Clydesdale commercial, and the internet was freaking out. And so we came up with a concept at the social media agency when I was at Vayner to put and you'll appreciate this being live, guys. We put the horses in a barn and we put a live stream on them for the entire Super Bowl, and we got 1 million views on our stream.
Yeah,
of people just tuning in because they missed the Clydesdales on Super Bowl Sunday, and that was
and then it's like you get to see. Plus, it's like you're looking at. Like when they're doing their thing, it's like a rock band on stage. When you're looking at them in their when they're stable, it's like looking at the rock group when they're in the back having their fucking refreshments before they go out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And people loved it. The horses were chill. They were just doing their thing. We had a dog in there. We had fire going in the background. Like it was almost like when you wake up at Christmas and you turn on the fireplace on your TV.
Yeah.
It kind of was like that, just like some ambient stuff in the background, and people were just sitting there and watching the horses in the live barn.
I love it. You're hanging out with Keith and John and our guest Joe Quattrone on Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to get your ass out of bed, guys. 8:00 Eastern time, right here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. What do you get when you mix Super Bowl commercials, Gary Vee, and a homegrown cleaning product made in someone's garage? Well, you got Joe Quattrone has been hanging out with us. And Johnny, I feel like we have been going through literally a historical marketing journey for the last 7 or 8 minutes. So I'm loving it, Joe, because I'm relating to a lot of the references you're talking about. I can tell you that I was probably working alongside you during many of these things, not literally, but figuratively, because at the time, my company managed social media. So Super Bowl days, we were up doing all the same stuff you were doing in the back room there with big brands. So I relate to much of what you were talking about. We can talk a little bit that over coffee later. But Joe, you're a marketing strategist. And this, Johnny, you're going to love this, brother, who doesn't love social media. And I got to tell you, it's fascinating. And I neither do I, for the record. But what does that say about modern marketing today? And then the second part to that, from your point of view, where's social headed?
Yeah.
Well, real quick, do you not love social media on a personal basis? Because like social media for me is business. On a personal level, I think it fucking wrecks lives.
No, I mean, I know too much about it. I know how it works, and I know how it like destroys your brain. And I'm a very private person, and I don't want to put my family out there. I don't want to put my address out there. I don't want to.
So you don't like it on every front.
I mean, I know it forensically. Like I know how it works. I know the different graphs out there, how to manipulate them, and all that kind of stuff. And I think back in the old days when it was more of follower graph, more social graph, that kind of stuff, I was a little more into it because it was more intimate. It was more about community and stuff like that. But the world has kind of lost its mind with, TikTok and shorts and reels and all that kind of stuff. And it's not really social media anymore. It's actually
not at all, actually.
It's just media.
Exactly correct.
Joe,
if I can interrupt you, you and I would have grew up when it was called UGC, user-generated content. And then over time, it kind of woke up to be called social media. And I'm with you, brother. It's just media now. Like TikTok is not social. Yeah. It's passive. It's consuming. It's modern television. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. And I don't begrudge it. I don't kind of discount its power or anything like that. And I know that as a CEO of a consulting company, I work with Gary Vee. I know how powerful a personal brand is. And I know how if you have a personal brand, you can trade on that and book clients and sell whatever you want to sell. I just haven't made that mental flip yet to be making it all about myself. Like I'm very uncomfortable putting the spotlight on myself. Maybe that's the Christianity, and maybe it's something else. I don't know exactly what it is, but so as such, I use my mind and my strategy and help brands and help other personal brands really scale and succeed.
Yeah.
And then you asked where is it headed?
Yeah.
Funny enough, I had this thought the other day. I think it's headed to where you guys are going. Like the live stream world in general is going to be the palate cleanser to the mess that's out there on the zombie internet with all the AI content and stuff like that.
Yes.
People are going to start to get pissed once they realize that 80% of the content that they're watching has been created by AI scripts and has been manipulated by AI, generated, videos and stuff like that. And if that's all you consume, then you're going to not be a very happy person. So I think they're going to crave authenticity, and live is one place that I see growing exponentially.
I agree.
And brother, I agree with that. That's one of the reasons why I try to really make sure that AI, doesn't take the human or the person away from me,
I'd like to do
it's very easy to lean on it too much. And next thing you know, you're just a fucking drone.
I'd like to do this. Joe Quattrone, can you give us an extra few minutes before can you hang out with us till the top of the hour?
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. So here's what we're going to do. Johnny, we're going to do a lifestyle tip with you. You're going to sneak away for your piss break. Yeah. And we're going to keep Joe until the top of the hour because he's dropping nuggets, man. And I'm thoroughly enjoying the conversation, man. You're dropping some good stuff here. And I'm telling you, for our generation, you're dropping stuff that everybody can relate to, man. And I'm not trying to exclude anybody from the past or the future, but what we're talking about right now is the past, the future, and the present, and it is awesome. So, Joe, we're going to do the lifestyle tip with Johnny. We'll bring you back in a minute, okay, brother?
Yep, no problem.
John.
All right. Check this out. Let me get myself on vertical to make sure that I'm in the middle of the screen. Yes, I am. Here we go. If you think you're too busy, you think like an average man, process that, please. See, average people, they're just too busy. They're too busy to work on themselves. They're too busy to do the constructive things that's going to make their lives better. The question is, what the fuck are they too busy with? And if you think this, what are you too busy with? You're busy focusing on the wrong stuff is what you're busy with. You see, a successful man, he's not too busy. He finds the time. Maybe he wakes up earlier. Maybe he makes a sacrifice of something that he likes to do, but he doesn't need to do. But it's a thought process that will hinder you for the rest of your life. So really think this through. If you think you're too busy, you think like an average man. And if you continue to think this way, you're going to be stuck for the rest of your goddamn life. Rock and roll.
Are you too busy? You're not too busy. You're not too busy. If you're too busy to lay there and hit the snooze button, you need to ask yourself the question.
Yeah, there's 9 of the fucking minutes you need right there, for Christ's sake. And the odds are, if you hit the fucker once, you're probably hitting it twice. Now there's 18 minutes. You know what you could do with 18 minutes every day? Oh, mercy.
I got nothing to say, man. I got nothing to say, man. He's right.
Get me out of here.
He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Jimmy, let's get Johnny for a piss. He's right. You do 9 minutes, you do 18, you're going to be 2.5 weeks behind the guy who doesn't. Hey, we're hanging out with Joe Quattrone, a marketing veteran with nearly 20 years of experience from driving digital strategy for Audi and Jaguar to building brands under the guidance of Gary Vaynerchuk at VaynerMedia. Joe, let's get into the conversation about Gary Vaynerchuk. Let's just ask the question. What's it really like being mentored by Gary Vaynerchuk? Any advice from him that's stuck for life?
Gary's an interesting dude to work for because he's, it's kind of like working for a celebrity. He's constantly got people in his orbit around him all the time. Time is scarce around him. So when you have it, you have to take advantage of it. I'd say the one thing I probably got from him that stuck with me for life is just doing the little things right to make people in your orbit feel really great about themselves. And I still do that to this day, even though I don't work for him anymore. Yes. I don't manage the people that I used to manage. When I worked for him, I managed hundreds of people. But I'll still, every once in a while, I'll pick up my phone and I'll start texting my old, employees that used to work for me and, just, hey, appreciate you, thinking about you. Something made me think about you today. And I never like to let time go where when I think about you, I don't connect with you. So, because that leads to misconnections, that leads to regret, all that kind of stuff. You never know when you're going to see these people again. Yeah. But my hope is that if I work with you and spend time with you and invest in you and watch you grow, that you're part of my team for life. So, and that's kind of just, Gary still does that to me today. He'll like text me like randomly and like, hey, did you see my book that I just released or whatever? What do you think? Like, and we'll just chit chat a little bit. And it's one of those things where it's like a fraternity almost. Like,
no, but Joe, but you're right, brother. I want to stay here with you, pal, because I appreciate you sharing that and I appreciate you doing that. And by you saying that and stating that, it's going to cause a man today to go, fuck, I need to do that too. Because us men, as we go through life, we often forget to send a message to our brothers to say, hey man, I'm thinking about you. Hey man, I love you. Hey, what's shaking? Right. And actually using those words, men. Right. So I'm gonna pause and take a page out of Joe's book right now, guys. As you're going through your day today, I invite you to pause your day, take out your good old phone or Android, and just send a message to a brother. Just tell him you're thinking about him. Tell him, actually say I love you. Just use words, guys.
I know this is a show for men, but or a sister. Like there's plenty of women that I've managed that I think about all the time that were great employees for me. And I wish them and their families the best. And yeah, so it's just part of checking in on them, you know, because if you want to go create a massive brand one day, you're going to need a lot of good people. So why not keep those people in your orbit, keep them close, keep them engaged and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and that's what we're doing here on our Mornings in the Lab, Joe. That's exactly what we're doing here. And I got a guy working with me right now on my team who's an exceptionally awesome dude. His name's Matthew Roof. He's all about uncommon kindness. And you know, and I find, you know, it's interesting, Joe, and I think you can relate to this, is how rare kindness is. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And then when you attach uncommon kindness to it, because it's not common at all to be kindness, there's something there to it. So when you talk about reaching out to brothers or sisters or folks, it's the idea of being kind. Right. And in a world where there's so much negative shit everywhere, you know, the reality is your message is probably going to have an impact on somebody. Right. Yeah. So, Joe, one thing, again, you didn't end up on the show by accident. You did not end up here by accident. I love your content, love what you're putting out there, love your experience. What I also love about you, man, is your faith. Yeah, I love that about you. You know, you referred to it earlier that, you know, I'm a born again Christian, but I don't do this and this and this. And I love that because it's you're defining it for your way. But Joe, what role does your faith play in your business decision making on a day-to-day basis?
It plays a massive role. So like I mentioned before, like just the filtering process, I have this opportunity to work with and work for whoever I want right now, whether it be by myself or work for other people that are like-minded. So I keep that very strict. I don't take opportunities for working with brands that aren't on the same page. I actually put my faith out there as well as a filter to keep people away that I feel like will suck my soul out, you know? Yeah. So I put my faith front and center because if you have a problem with that, I'm going to have a problem working with you. And, but I think more importantly, like you look at some elements of scripture, you know, recently I've been reading in Colossians and, you know, the Bible basically tells us to, you know, work hard as if the Lord is your boss, right? So you need to be proud of what you do. You have to be invested in it. You have to go to sleep at night and feel like what you did was beneficial to people around you and not vice versa. There's been plenty of years where I've gone to bed and I've questioned the ethics of the work that I've been doing. And I just didn't, you know, obviously working in beer and cars and cannabis and stuff like that, I still hold that cannabis is on the better side of things than other things like alcohol, but alcohol doesn't really have a lot of redeeming qualities to it. It's really just, and the way that people market it really is designed to get people to over consume product because that's how they make money. Same thing with cars. Like it's not, you don't need an $80,000 car, you know? So you play psychologically on people and you take advantage of them.
You know what strikes me, Joe, when I'm talking to you, listening to you, is that you strike me as somebody that has had some conflict as you've been going through life. And I mean, this is a complimentary story here. You strike me as somebody that's had conflict going through life, working with some of the brands, working with some of the things that have had to happen with those brands, yet struggling with some of your own, I don't want to say ethics, because I know you're an ethical dude, but just struggling with maybe how it all works. And the conflict of that, and because of what you know, and because of what you've seen, and
he knows too much.
Yeah, and as you're talking, Joe, and I mean this with love, man, because you strike me as somebody who knows better, but yet there's this internal conflict that you've gone through life where there's just been this battle. Am I correct with perhaps that, Joe?
I don't think it's any different than a lot of people throughout the course of history. I think my story is very similar to the prodigal son. You know, you stray. Like I grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
I strayed away from my faith, not intentionally. I never stopped believing in Jesus. I just stopped necessarily believing in 100% of what the Bible was telling me.
Yeah.
So I went and did my own thing because I thought I was better than God's word. And eventually I came back because as one does, you start having kids and you start really contemplating life and what's going to happen to your kids and what kind of example you want to be. And when I started to really, interpret that a little bit and dwell and spend some time on it, I figured I don't want to raise my kids to question God and to stray from God and get far away from God. I wanted to be the example.
And that's what I mean is that you strike me now as somebody who's, again, I mean this is a great compliment, brother. You strike me as somebody who's really living a true purpose. And as you are going through your journey of working with these different brands and these different parts of your life, not that you didn't have a purpose, you had to pay the bills, you had to raise your family, you had life to get to, but it's like you had this conflict. And as you've gone through life, you've recognized that,
yeah.
Am I right?
I've got a really good, I mean, one of the funniest sayings to me is like, we make plans and God laughs, I think that's kind of what nails it on the head for me.
Yeah.
I don't regret anything I've done. I had to work on Budweiser, had to work on these brands to gain the experience necessary to be able to apply it in the right way to the right brands in the future. But when I think about when I was getting into the field, like I'm not ADHD at all. I'm very focused. I know how to like plan and get shit done. But I thought that I had everything figured out. I thought, wow, there's this thing called social media, and very few marketers actually know about it or want to pursue it as a career path. All of my friends were making fun of me for getting into it because they were working on big TV campaigns and stuff like that. And for me, it was like, I'm going to get the last laugh, right? 20 years from now or 15 years from now, when they're all losing their jobs and can't keep a job, I'm going to be the CMO of a Fortune 500 company because the budgets that they're spending in 2025 and 2030 are going to be on social media. And I'm going to have 2-3 decades of experience in that space. And that's all I thought mattered, right? I thought I was smarter than everybody else because I figured something else out that nobody in my kind of weight class was thinking about. And as I started checking those boxes off, I started realizing after a while, I was like, man, do I really want to work for a Fortune 500 company? They tend to be, crazy, and they tend to work insane hours, and they tend to be backstabbing each other, and they tend to not be doing things for the right reason. And so like slowly but surely, that's why I say we make plans and God laughs. I don't mind the idea of working for a Fortune 500 company, but I want to do it in a way where it's actually purpose driven. Maybe I'm going to build the Fortune 500 company, and that would be so much more meaningful than actually going and seeking out salary and shares and the pyramid essentially.
I stay here with you, Joe, and we're going to move on from this because there's a lot of men that listen to our show that go through life that are stuck or don't know how to get to the next stage or are stuck with internal conflict around principles and values or collecting a paycheck. And there's a lot of reasons why we get stuck. So that's why I was leaning into your story, because there's somebody listening right now going, they're taking something from you. Right. And they're going, how do I get to that next level and so forth. Right. So I really appreciate you getting into that and sharing the conflict of, I was working for this brand. I didn't agree with some of the things, but I had to work there because I had to pay the bills. That's just the fact of the matter, Joe.
And not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but that's, when you get into biohacking and like wellness and stuff like that, you tend to go down a few rabbit holes. But that's the way the system wants it to be. They set it up so that you march yourself into an environment where they can tax you up front.
Yes.
So most people are convinced they have to go to college, they have to go to grad school, they have to get these paper degrees, they got to get in the workforce, and they don't know what they want to do. They've just been told to go do this thing, and then they're sitting there with like a mountain of debt, and they're sitting there with these great degrees, and on paper it sounds like you're going in a really great direction because you made a couple cool choices, but at the end of the day, you never spent time really figuring out what you wanted. If I had to rewind time right now, knowing how the world was going to play out the way it was going to play out, if I could time travel back to 2005, I probably wouldn't go to grad school. I'd probably start a podcast about my favorite football team, and I would be the world's biggest podcast for that football team right now. But I think that's the thing.
You think about it with school. We have, like when I was in school, there was a fucking careers assembly.
Yes.
It was like a fucking 2-hour thing where you walked around and you looked at different tables of different fucking things you might want to do with your life.
Mm-hmm.
Christ, so we spent 2 hours trying to figure out what we wanted to do. Fuck.
If you have spent 2 hours figuring it out, that's not what you want to be doing.
No. You're like 13 when you're very impressionable.
Yeah.
Oh, man. John and Keith, mornings at 11. Keith and friends with our friend Joe Quattrone. We're wrapping up here. We got some rapid fires for you, Joe, before we get you out of the lab and get you on with your day. I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversation with you today here, brother. Let's do it. Some rapid fire. You ready to go?
Yep.
Let's do it. Favorite guilty pleasure snack while brainstorming?
I like. It's gonna sound really weird, but I like trail mix. I just salty and sweet. I like the combination of the two
Nicely
things.
done. Yeah. Super Bowl ad you're most proud of? One.
Probably the Jaguar one, because that was a very involved. It took 3 to 6 months to execute and did really well for a brand. Brought a brand that was struggling for decades out of obscurity and back into the limelight for a little bit. Morning
person or night owl?
Morning person for sure.
Least favorite household chore? Your wife's not listening.
Lisa, I don't really mind doing chores, but I'd say probably the laundry is not my favorite thing to do.
One Bible verse that doubles as great marketing advice.
Ooh, there's one. I'll stumble over the exact phrasing of it because I'm still a baby in my faith. I only became saved in 2019, and I'm not like very well versed in scripture. But I'd say Corinthians 2 verse 5. It goes to the effect of having faith blind. Having blind faith, because it's better to have faith in God than to have proof of God, right? It's that old kind of, Matthew in the book of Acts kind of world where, or Thomas, I should say. It's Thomas in the book of Acts where he came back to the rest of the apostles and he had to be shown proof that Jesus was back from the dead. And Jesus really wants you to have faith without necessarily seeing evidence. And so the way I look at Corinthians 2:5 is, I want to run my business that way. I want Jesus to be the CEO of my business or the CFO of my business, and I'm making decisions without proof that he exists, but with faith that he exists, and he's going to guide the hand of my business.
Johnny,
brother, belief is a skill. You got to practice it, and you don't need proof to practice.
Yeah,
I love that. Those are nuggets, man. Joe, if you had to name a book about your entrepreneurial journey, Joe, what would it be? And what's chapter 1 called?
I would say cleaning up my mess is probably the book, because my product that I'm most passionate about is Miss Leanne's Standard, and my mess is just my whole baggage with what I thought I knew my career was going to be. And the funny thing about kind of stumbling across this product over the last 60 to 180 days is there hasn't been a single second that I've worked on it that I haven't been happy. And so automatically it's pole vaulted into my favorite brand I've ever worked on. And I haven't really sold a ton of them yet. It's just still an incubation phase. And I think I wish that for everybody. I wish everybody would come across something in their life that makes them so happy to work on that they literally don't want to do anything else with their time. And that's all I'm doing now is I'm trying to figure out, how do I race to that point where this is what I do full time?
That's what this whole show is about, brother. And I lied. I got 2 extra minutes I want for you, because I want you to tell Keith and John and our nation about Miss Leanne's Standard. What inspired the name, and how's production going, my friend?
Production's going well. I'm doing self-bottling at the house. But how did I get inspired by it? I'm a neat freak and my wife is not. But she's very honed in and dialed in on low toxicity and low ingredients. And I wouldn't say I was skeptical. I like I said, I've gone down some rabbit holes. So I've seen Gary Brecka, I've seen all these guys, Andrew Huberman. I know about, low toxicity and low ingredient count and eating well and eating whole foods and stuff like that. But I finally started getting serious about it because she started taking away all of my old industrial cleaning products and replacing them with these subscription products and these things that came from Whole Foods and Sprouts and stuff like that. And none of them could actually do the job that I wanted them to do. And so I was just kind of in my lab, which is my kitchen. I always tinker around. She also wouldn't let me burn candles because she was worried we're going to get cancer from the smoke and stuff like that. So I was, a couple things were kind of at play. I saw how Williams and Sonoma would get the aromatics out in their store. They had a kitchen in the back, and they would brew these pots of, ingredients. They put orange peels and vanilla sticks and cloves in them and stuff like that. And they just let it walk through the store all day long. So I was making those hot pots for a while. And then I was also watching YouTube channels of butlers, like actually tinkering around with ingredients to like get stains out of the Duchess's dress and stuff like that. And I started just messing around with an ingredient panel in my house. I was like, well, how am I going to clean better than this stuff that she brings home from Whole Foods? Because it smelled awful, and it still was loaded with junk, even though it was the cleanest stuff on the market. And so I came up with a formula that was very intentional. It's 5 ingredients. It's cleaning vinegar, so like a 5%, 6% acidic vinegar, dish soap, hydrogen peroxide, oregano oil, and essential oils. I put the kicker was I put it in hot water because I was doing all that aromatic stuff with essential oils. Yeah. So I put those 5 ingredients in a 32-ounce pot of hot water, and I started wiping down every surface in my house like you would wash a car. So instead of like spot spraying and stuff like that, I'd wipe every surface down, and then whatever residue was left, I'd get a buff towel out and I'd buff it out just like when you're working on a car. And the funny thing was, it made the house smell so good. You could leave the house, come back 4 hours later, the whole place would smell amazing. And then I started getting compliments from all like my wife's friends when they would come to visit about how great our house smelled and how clean everything looked. And it never really dawned on me for like 6 months. It never really dawned on me. I was using this homemade recipe, and then because I was working on strategy stuff with ChatGPT so much, I peeled off the question and I asked ChatGPT. I was like, "Do you think this thing that I'm making, these ingredients, you think that could be a brand?" and it gave me all the confidence of why it might make sense. And I think the number one thing that makes sense is, to me, this is a product that has old world values. Cleaning with warm or hot water is something people did pre-industrial age, right? Yeah. And cleaning wasn't something you did because you had to do. It was something you did to honor God or honor your spouse. And that, to me, I thought was the coolest element of that. I think there's a need in the market, or I think there's a hole in the market for a cleaning product with soul to come in and actually make people want to clean or feel great about cleaning again. And also, while you're at it, very low ingredients, very healthy, very clean ingredient panel and stuff like that. So you're not going to load your household up with a bunch of toxic chemicals. And the other part, and I would say, this is probably just the last kicker. This is more of like a positive benefit of it happening versus me going out and intentionally seeking it out. Obviously, the Trump tariff stuff has really kind of like upended a lot of stuff out there in the world. And I don't take anything away from anybody that's having trouble losing jobs and stuff like that. But I look at it as an opportunity for myself to be an American-made manufacturer, to source locally, to be environmentally friendly, to be sustainable, to encourage people to reuse and rebottle and stuff like that. That's why I'm doing all glass, amber glass. And I'm also trying to get the price point right. So the other thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to create 16 different products that are all diluted at different ratios, because I don't want to sell people water. I want to sell people concentrate. I might sell them cheaper versions of spray bottles with no liquid in it so that they can make their own, dilution formulas and stuff like that. But I want to give back in a way where, you've got really high end, really powerful concentrate, but it's also affordable. And the way I'll make it affordable is by, instead of you going out and buying a glass bottle at a store for $14, I can get it wholesale for $1. I'll sell it to you for $3.
Joe, where can folks find your product?
Cleanerstandards.com is my Shopify page.
Awesome. And how can folks connect with Joe Quattrone?
You can follow me on social media. Super Quattrone is my handle pretty much everywhere. When I was in college, I worked at Home Depot and big box retail, so I thought I was going to be a blogger about like
Super Quattrone. We can find Joe Quattrone, and you can find you across all the platforms, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably most active on LinkedIn, so that's probably where
I invite you guys to connect with Joe Quattrone on LinkedIn. Super Quattrone. Joe, thanks for hanging out with us this morning on the lab, my brother. We'll connect with you later on today, okay, pal?
Yeah, man.
All right, we're gonna get Joe.
Shit, brother.
Good to see you, John.
I appreciate it. All right, Jimmy, we're gonna rock and roll Joe out of here. We're gonna keep the show going here, guys. We're gonna reset for hour 2 on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, and it's gonna sound a little bit like this. There we go. Boom, boom. Joe Quattrone dropping all the marketing knowledge over the last half an hour or so. It was a great conversation, man. Thoroughly enjoyed all that.
Yeah, it was interesting to have that look behind the curtain.
Well, that's what it was for me. I felt like we were going through like a marketing journey of life, right? Just the different brands you worked with and different stories, and Audi and Gary Vaynerchuk, and I love how he weaves faith into everything, right? So all some good shit here. All right, the last you guys are hanging out with Keith and John here for the last 20-30 minutes or so with Mornings in Live with Keith and friends. Johnny, you know how you and I love to own the conversation on the snooze button, and I know you and I are waking up every single day encouraging men not to hit the snooze button. Well, guys, there's guys that are wondering right now that even after hitting the snooze button multiple times, they still wake up tired. Johnny, I found a little bit of research today that talks about how that crucial sleep phase, the REM sleep, and how this seemingly harmless habit, guys, the bad habit, could be impacting your health, your mood, and your productivity. Interrupting REM sleep isn't just about feeling groggy. It's about impairing memory, consolidation, emotional stability, and overall cognitive function. Understanding this could revolutionize your morning routine and drastically improve daily energy. John, REM sleep disruption. When we hit the snooze just before REM peaks, and we're waking, it's crucial for memory and emotional regulation. When we do hit the snooze button, it creates fragmented light sleep. Snooze alarms create fragmented sleep, limiting restorative benefits and increasing sleep inertia. And Johnny, frequent REM disruptions mess up the health. Impact on health correlate with reduced mood, energy levels, cognitive sharpness, and overall health deterioration. Sleep specialists universally advise against using the snooze, recommending instead what you say. Set your alarm to the latest necessary time to get your ass out of bed. Guys, stop hitting the snooze button. It's fucking with your day. John Anderson.
100%. And here's the thing. As soon as you make this little thing, it's little and non-negotiable. It's very easy.
Yeah.
When you take a dump, you have a non-negotiable to wipe your ass. And if you don't, you're a sick bastard. You need to make it one. You have a non-negotiable probably to brush your teeth in the morning. You have all of these little non-negotiables in your life. You've just somehow let hitting the snooze not be one of them. It's a simple decision. And once you start to do it, like wiping your ass, like brushing your teeth, it's just going to be a simple way of life. And the thing about it is, you start your day putting something off, it's not a good place mentally to be.
Well, Johnny, what happens in my experience is that we're often setting the snooze alarm the night before because we're incorrectly setting the alarm to start with. Right. So what's happening, guys, is that before we're going to bed, we're actually setting the alarm incorrectly. We're setting with all this inspiration and ideas that we're going to get up, even though we know we're going to hit the snooze alarm. Guys, it's the wrong approach. I invite you to consider a few things. Maybe, listen, like the great old Peloton instructor Dennis Morton likes to say, we'll make recommendations and suggestions, you make decisions. But here's the thing. Maybe you want to set your alarm for your actual wake-up time, eliminating the temptation to snooze. But more importantly, and Anderson's been leaning on this, and I have been working hard at this myself a lot lately too. And Johnny, I'm trying to rearrange some habits in my life. I'm going to be vulnerable with the nation right now. And one of them right now is my sleep. I'm focusing on one right now, which is sleep. Maintaining a consistent bedtime, and wake up time to optimize your body's natural sleep rhythms. You know, Johnny shoots for 3 o'clock to wake up every single morning, but what he actually shoots for is 2:59. And he shoots for it in his head to get up before the alarm goes off. Right? So it's, and he does that because he goes to bed at the same time. So his body's like, okay, it's going to bed. It's time to wake up. So guys, set your alarm for when you want to wake up and set that schedule. Know when you're going to bed. If you're listening to me right now, you should know when you're going to bed tonight. Hear me clearly. You should know when you are going to bed. And I'm using the word should. Yeah, I'm shooting on you right now. I invite you to recognize in your head what time you're going to bed tonight. That's it.
Brother, listen to this. There's so many highly successful people. The first one that comes to mind is a guy, he's a Canadian, Dan Martell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Highly successful dude.
Yes.
Right? One of the things he said is, if you can have a set bedtime, you're probably going to be highly successful.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
is that
what the
it?
fuck, dude? One little fucking thing, and it puts the odds severely in your favor. And we're not talking about a guy who doesn't know what success is. We're talking about a guy who's worth probably a few $100 million and climbing at a very fucking rapid rate.
Yeah.
And he's saying, have a set bedtime, and that's a cheat code.
Yes. Yeah.
Why the fuck are people not doing this shit?
Guys, life is stacked against us. You think about it. Life is actually, you get in your car, you drive down the road, there's McDonald's, there's Burger King, there's every bad choice being put in front of you, right? So, there's a late night hockey game, there's a late night sports game, life is stacked absolutely against us. We are building a show and a product based around getting to bed on good time, not hitting the snooze button, and making good choices. Guys, snoozing is killing you guys. It's absolutely killing you.
What are we focusing on, though? Jesus Christ.
Well,
how fucking important is all the shit that you just listed off?
I'll tell you something else.
This is what helps me. When I was young, I used to ask myself, what's important to the average man? Because if that's important to me, I'm fucking average. And I don't like the thought of being average.
Love that.
And I thought to myself, if everybody's doing something, it's probably pretty fucking easy. So I need to step up my game.
Yes.
Just
exactly.
look at what is going on around you. And keep in mind, if you want to be average and you're happy average, I'm happy for you. I'm not saying that that's wrong. If that's clearly you're here because you want more. So if you're telling yourself you want to be average and you're here, you should probably fucking be honest with yourself. But that's a whole different topic. But what I'm getting at is this. If you don't want to be average, stop doing average shit. It's your loop. Are you doing average things all fucking day long? Are you doing the things that everybody else is doing? And if you are, that's the mindset that's going to keep you where you are for the rest of your goddamn life. That's what I talked about in my lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, and Johnny, and you're using, plural habits and things. And I'm gonna invite our audience to consider, if you're looking to change a lot of things at once, you might fail. So what I'd invite you to consider is changing one thing first. And here's where I'm going at. Maybe you're thinking, okay, I keep hearing Keith and John talking about eating more protein and going to bed earlier and doing this and doing that. Well, guys, don't try to do it all at once. Just do one thing right now. And maybe right now it's just doing the snooze button, right? And then getting your sleeping on par. Get your sleeping going. Because then once you get your sleeping going, you might make better decisions when you're not tired all the time, which might lead you into the direction where I'm going right now, which is something this young man, John Anderson, preaches all the time, which is, if you guys want to lose fat, hear my words clearly. If you want to lose fat, not weight, if you want to lose fat, you might want to eat more. The power of high protein and resistance training. And this comes straight from the theories of John Anderson, because the question is this: can you really burn more fat while eating more calories? Well, it sounds impossible, but the research suggests, and we know because Anderson does it all the time. But again, my job is to throw knowledge for you guys to consider and get through the day. I want to dig into the science of the magic of 2% protein and how protein intake, increasing it just to the right level, will unlock your body's fat burning potential while preserving muscle mass. Now, I can make this all complicated, but I'm going to simplify it for my brother John, like he always talks about. Guys, eat more protein, you're going to lose more body fat. Simple as that. And then you add resistance training to that, you're going to lose more body fat. So whether you're trying to get leaner, stay stronger, or simply improve your metabolism, this insight will help you do more with less stress. And
let's add one more simple little tip to that. Eat more protein. Make sure when you're eating, you eat protein first.
Bingo. Why, Johnny? Tell why.
Well, number one, because you got to get it in.
Yes.
That's the first reason. And the second reason, by putting protein in your stomach first, especially if it's a good, real whole food protein.
Yes.
Then whatever fucked up shit you put in after there doesn't mess with your stomach quite as bad.
Yes. And Johnny, an insulin response too, right? Because when you eat protein first, it changes your body's
100%. 100%.
Right?
It's because the glycemic index, I mean, everything. There's so many things. Digestion.
Well, I bring it up because you're a man on feelings, and let's lean in here, because often, guys, if we're crushing our carbs or our bad shit first, your insulin's gonna spike in you. You're gonna feel not good.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Well, and keep in mind, when your insulin spikes, it's a transport hormone. It's saying, okay, it's time to start storing.
yes.
And what you don't want your body to do is store. You want it to use.
Yes. So guys, I'm repeating myself, but that's the point. We do this every single day. Increase your protein, increase your strength training. You're going to lose body fat. You don't need to go and do 4 more hours of cardio. You don't need to go and do, 1,000 more minutes of sit-ups. You don't need to go and change your entire life. Eat more protein, get to bed, good time, and make good choices. It's actually not much more complicated than that. To be really honest with you, actually, it's not much more complicated than that. The funny thing is, everywhere you read, everywhere you go online, guys, somebody's going to try to sell you something more complicated than that, when the reality is it's actually not much more complicated than that at all. All right, Johnny, well, listen, I got to tell you something, man. I've been focusing on Fridays of cleaning off the guest palette and keeping it pretty light for us. So
Friday today.
Yeah, it is Friday too. Yeah. So we had one here today, but the next number of Fridays, I'm keeping them pretty light. I want to keep them for Freedom Fun Fridays for Keith and Johnny to get after it. I suspect you got to get out of here in a couple minutes. What do you got going on today? What do you got going on the weekend here, pal?
Well, I've got training right when I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And then I've got some client stuff that I'm going to be doing. I always like to get my client stuff done in the mornings. I'm sharp.
Yeah.
Workouts, I'm vibrating high, man. It's just
yeah.
And then Tara and I are going to play pickleball, and then I have a podcast. I don't remember which one it is, but it's at 11 o'clock. And then
wonderful.
After that, I'm gonna take a nap, and then after that, I'm actually you'll like this. I'm actually meeting with a dude who's he's on my marketing team, and he saw the LinkedIn page, and he's like, "Hey, let's have a quick meeting. I think we can tune that up a little bit."
Yeah. Awesome.
So we're gonna do that. I've had that meeting at 1:30. I think after that, Tara and I are probably gonna go to the pool.
Nice.
And then it's great because we lay in the sun, and I basically got my phone there, so I just keep making progress.
Yeah. Multitasking. Yeah.
That's right. I'm relaxing, spending time with my lady.
Yeah.
Getting a tan, making money. Fuck, the list goes on. Enjoying myself, enjoying my good life. Come on.
And then some people wonder. It's funny. I had somebody ask me a question a couple weeks ago going, yeah, why did you go on vacation? I'm like, I gave an answer from your book. Why do I want to go have a vacation from a life that I love?
Yeah. I don't need to escape my life.
I don't
want to escape my life.
The dude looked at me with my response, and he's like, yeah. I go, yeah. Because people don't often think that way. People don't often hear the response that way.
Well, no, because all they want to do, they're thinking, fuck, I need a break from this fucking grind that I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, I don't know that I would probably would not have been a good human being in that fucking version of life.
No. You'd be miserable. Son of a bitch. Let's be frank about it.
I can only imagine, because when I'm miserable, I'm an asshole.
Yeah. What makes you miserable?
That's a good question, because I don't even fucking acknowledge that shit anymore. You ask what makes you miserable? It's so far away from fuck. I don't know.
No, but that's what I'm being very serious right now. Like, I've known you now for, you and I met about a year and a half ago. We did Live in the Lab, and then you and I met a year ago. I think it was about a year ago. We started the show. We've been hanging out every single day since. And I don't know. I'm reflecting on our time together. I don't know if you,
dude, my reticular activating system, which is what my brain, filter, my brain, it filters that shit out. I don't even fucking know it's there.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's a compliment, and I got to tell you, I think it's helped change mine too. Because I make a point of I just don't bring it into my head anymore. It's like, what's the point?
And for people listening, if we try to summarize this,
yeah,
the average person walks around, and the way that our brains are wired, it's nobody's fault. It's our brains. It's our brains are designed to pick out the problems all around us, because way back when, that's what kept us alive.
Yes.
Well, if you spend enough time working on your brain, I say, look, if an average person worked on an average man, I'll say this because it'll make sense better. If an average man trained their brain like they train their chest, they'd have the life they choose. Well, I train my brain every fucking day. So I don't see those problems. I see the opportunities on the other side of those problems. So my decision-making is different, which makes my life very different.
I like that you said this a number of times. You said it today with Quattrone. Having a belief is a skill. Like believing is a skill.
You have to practice your belief, whatever the fuck, even in yourself. It's easier to believe in a higher power first before you believe in yourself.
I never thought about that in the context of how you presented it until I started hanging out with you, until I started creating the show on a daily basis. And I believe it all the time now. Let me tell you why. Because as I'm selecting and finding conversations for us to have on the show, Anderson, it's fucking really easy to find all the negative bullshit because it's everywhere. What's hard is to find good, positive, inspiring content that we can believe in, that we want to believe in. And yes, I know sometimes you roll your eyes at some of the ridiculous bullshit I put on here, but it's on purpose. It's entertaining and it's to get conversation, 100%. Right? But I'm with you, pal. Since we've been building this together, every single day I focus on positive belief because that's what we're trying to give to our audience. And I love it, man. It's just beautiful, frankly. And it's not kumbaya shit.
Well, and the thing about it, like I said a minute ago, is that if you train your brain like you train your chest, you change your life. Well, I mean, every day on this show, that was one of the things I recognized is, this thing, there's a much bigger purpose here. Yes. But I get to exercise my beliefs every fucking day. And to me, there's value in that. I'm getting paid every day.
Yeah, me too. It's funny. You said this a couple weeks ago and I haven't stopped laughing about it in my own private head because there's something here with what you said because we're both marketers and business guys.
Hold on. Yeah. Is there two versions? Your private head and your public head? Is that?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. So you're giggling in your mind. You're giggling in your mind.
Over here, yeah.
I love it, dude. I love it.
You're so right. If society has spent so much time teaching us how to build a big chest and build abs. Like, think about the billions of dollars in the industry teaching men how to build big chests and build big abs. Yet if we spent that same billions of dollars having men create strong minds and wonderful, positive minds, think about how different society would be.
Brother, those men are not controllable.
Well, there you go, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because those men don't fucking go to a job they don't fucking like. Yeah, well, there's something to be said for that. All right, pal, well, listen, I'm gonna let you get out of here. Bottom of the hour, I'm gonna continue with the community corner. I'm gonna lean into a couple minutes, Jimmy, with some of our deep dive remote discussion, but what I really want to get into the community corner and celebrate some of the folks in the wonderful Mornings in the Lab community. Johnny, we tagged you in a post from the box throw yesterday. I invite you and your colleague Tim, and you guys get into LinkedIn, go have a look at it. We tagged you on it. It was that box throw with Alex, and that's it's a big mental health initiative. So we got that going. That turned out to be pretty good yesterday too. So we got a big week of shows coming up next week as well. So I'm looking forward to it. You have yourself a great weekend, pal. All right, brother. Have a good loop. I'll see you Monday. You betcha. All right, Johnny's gonna get out of here, Jim. Let's roll the young man out of the lab, Jimmy. And Jimmy, I was looking for a sound effect to pivot the discussion here. Maybe I'll do this one. Oh! Jimmy, do we like that one? Yeah. I'm an artist. I'm a creative artist. I make music for a living. All right. Jimmy, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have a little conversation around the deep dive about I believe in remote work, and here's why you should too. And then we're going to get into the community corner, Jimmy. Should we do that? Should we just talk with my hands all the time like that, Jimmy? Just boop, 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 boop. Yeah. Jimmy, that was a good show here today. Although, Jimmy, I think I got to have a conversation with Joe about a good tennis match. Hey, Roofy, you listening? You know what I'm talking about, Roofy. A good tennis match, back and forth. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, good tennis is like a good conversation, nation. It goes back and forth. Yeah, just saying, just offering it up there for you guys to think about it. That's how a good conversation, back and forth, Jimmy, back and forth. There's a clip, Jimmy. There's a clip. All right. Here's what we're going to do. Guys, the title of today's show is I Believe in Remote Work, and here's why you should too. And I did not talk about it in the first hour on purpose because we had a guest, and me and Johnny were getting after it. So we're going to talk about it today. Just shuffling the deep dive around. Well, as I was thinking about today's topic, I asked myself this question, first of all. Are people still bitching about remote work? Are people still asking about remote work? Or is it just part of society now?
As you guys know, I believe in it. I started ICUC a few years back, completely remote business. The skills I learned there have allowed me to do this with all of you. Why? Because I get to look at the light. I know how to talk to the light. I know how to get my message across to the light. The light is you, looking in your eyes over there. But the reality is remote work is more than likely here to stay. So if you're one of those leaders who is not embracing it still today in 2025, I ask you the question why you're not. I really do. I know some jobs you have to go to the place of establishment. If you're a doctor, I probably want to have you at the doctor's office getting my work done. But office work, remote work. I know, Lady Drew, you're a remote worker. Work that focuses on results, brain work. You know, the old white collar work. Remote. Just get the results done. Build your team, lean into your team, empower your team, and just invite the results to happen. So yeah, I absolutely believe in remote work, and I invite you to as well. And I got to be honest, Johnny. What's going on, Brophy? Good morning. What's going on, brother? Thanks for hanging us out with the web. Yeah, Brophy, I've been talking for over an hour. My words are just coming out here. Jason Brophy joining us from all the way from Alberta. Hey, Jay, you guys separating from the country? You guys taking off or what? If you guys take off, just leave me a spot on the train. I might just join you. I just might join you to have a no-tax, high-income province. Brophy, let's lead it, brother. Anyways, remote work. Jimmy, Adam, I love when I get to do remote work. I get twice the work done from home that I can in the office. The only downside is you lose the benefit of unplanned collaboration. You know, Adam, you raise a good point. Let's talk about that. The benefits of unplanned collaboration. I wonder if unplanned collaboration is actually true or if it's actually just planned collaboration in disguise. I see Adam down there at the water cooler. I'm sitting in my office. So I get up and I walk down there. It's unplanned, but it's actually not because I got to talk to Adam. So I wonder, Adam, if we could create unplanned collaboration by creating a space, Roofy, like the Business Athlete Performance Lab, a virtual workspace where folks can interact and engage and bump into each other in the virtual world. So Adam, if you had a virtual space where unplanned collaboration could happen, would that be of value to you? I wonder. I wonder how that would work. Brophy, no, it's a waste of time. Nobody voted for that. Yes, it's funny how a few loud voices make it sound like everybody is part of that same voice, right? Yeah, true story. But I do hear your argument, Adam, around the idea of unplanned collaboration. And I know that a lot of folks, in my experience, when it comes down to having this conversation about remote work, the unplanned collaboration, the lack of water cooler conversation. So here's how I did it. When I was building ICUC, what I did was we made it a strong effort to make sure people got together. When I took people for offsites, when we went to Vegas for offsites or on different, locations around the world, it was not sitting in boardrooms. It was not sitting in meetings. It was spending time as human beings, creating that unplanned collaboration. Adam, I'll tell you something, brother. One of the greatest experiences I had as a leader was leading two of my colleagues to the top of Volcan Baru in Panama, and then walking down with them and creating and providing their employee reviews during the walk down after we summited the mountain. That was powerful stuff. But that didn't happen in an office. It was planned, but all about remote work. So I sometimes I wonder if we're still going to keep talking about remote work in the future, or if that's just what it is. So I don't know, Jimmy. I don't know if there's a lot of value in the last conversation I just had about remote work. Okay. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be frank. So I put together this week's show. I'll take my glass off this one. When I put together this week's show, this Friday show had a different title, and it was kind of fucked up. I didn't like it. And then as I was building to today's show, I was like, okay, I need to get a better title. So I sat down with my old GPT assistant and I said, hey, I need a better title. So it gave me this one because it knows my experience. I'm like, okay, that's the title I'm going to go with. But another true story, guys, I pull levers every single day building this business. And today's lever was like, okay, I got to do that. So this is going to suffer. So what suffered was today's title. So, hey, I don't got much meat for you guys on today's title. That's what it is. Remote work. Sorry. True story, Jimmy. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. We are going to go over here. All right, you know that music. I know it too. It's time. It's time for the Community Corner, where we are going to connect Substack and LinkedIn on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Yeah, baby. Today, we're hitting everything from parenting and screen time to workplace truth bombs to what really kills culture and connection. Jimmy! Motherfucking Jimmy, let's get into it, brother. All right. Oh, I love this part of the show. Kevin Maguire. Yeah, Kevin Maguire. Spit it out, Billis. Spit it out, Billis. Kevin Maguire dropped a killer post on the new fatherhood about why he's not panicking over screen time. Oh, I like this guy. His daughter asked why old photos look blurry, and somehow that turned into a full-blown tour through Street Fighter, dial-up modems, and how a kid's obsession with Mario can shape a future career. His point: the same way we grew up wasting time on consoles might actually be how our kids build resumes, not by following rules, but by following curiosity. He's not just telling parents to chill. He's asking all of us, what if those so-called time wasters were training grounds? I'm curious, what pointless obsession from your childhood actually gave you real skills later? Let me know. Drop your comments below. I think there's truth to this. The things we wonder what our kids are doing, is that bad shit? No, I don't think it is. Maybe some of the skills they're learning are valuable in the future. We just can't see yet. Substack story number 2. Staying in the world of Substack, not so romantic truth about work. Anu Atulru came in hot with this one. Her post starts with louder for the romanticizers in the back and is a direct shot at all the feel-good career advice we've been fed for years. She's not saying work can't be meaningful. No, baby. She's saying it won't always feel that way. You won't love every minute. You won't always feel aligned. And no, passion alone won't pay the bills. She breaks it down with one brutal but honest line. You won't love it because it's fun. The surgeon doesn't love their paperwork. The doc doesn't love intubation. The teacher doesn't love grading. You love it. You love it because it matters. So Business Athlete Nation, Mornings in the Lab Nation, what's one part of your workday? What's one part of your workday you don't enjoy, but you keep showing up because it serves something bigger? Ask yourself that question. What is it? Joe Quattrone asked him that question earlier on in the hour. Substack story number 3. Identity is the real habit. 2 words we love to hang on here in the lab: identity and habits. This one comes from Benjamin Rizek over at Achiever. And it's not just your typical habit advice. Benjamin breaks down why most goals don't stick. We try to change behavior without changing identity. Saying, I want to be disciplined, keeps you stuck. But a slight shift of words of, I'm a disciplined person, that's identity. That's traction. And he backs it with data. If you believe your traits are fixed, your chances of change drop by 73%. This guy's not pushing willpower, he's pushing alignment. When who you are matches what you want, the resistance disappears. So, nation, I invite you to reflect. What's one habit you've been forcing that might actually need a new identity behind it? All right. LinkedIn. Jimmy, let's pivot to light. Let's pivot the Mornings in the Lab light. The Community Corner light over to LinkedIn. To the number 1 story over there. Stuck on who you used to be? Are you? Alex Wish posted a gut punch. You know that gut punch? He shared how depression once had him locked in bed. Not just physically, but mentally stuck on who he used to be. The success, the identity, the image, all of it. He wasn't thinking about who he could become. He was trapped in rewind. But here's the line that cuts through everything. Spending your time now thinking of the past makes it certain that you're going to repeat it. That's not just mental health insight. That's a life truth. Nation, do you agree with Alex? I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. All right, keep it on the LinkedIn train. Number 2, these behaviors aren't just bad habits. They're culture killers. Gary Ridge opened with a simple truth. Every one of us has slipped into at least one of these behaviors at some point. Then he admits to worrying more times than he wants to count and losing hours to envy before realizing it was just admiration minus the gratitude. Now he takes it further and he names what's really going on. These aren't just bad habits, they're culture killers. Laziness drains teams, anger shuts down trust, gossip is poison with a smile. Gary says leadership starts when we stop pretending these things don't exist and start choosing curiosity over criticism. Nation, I ask you this, what behaviors do you think are culture killers? Tell us in the comments. What's up, batshit crazy? What's up? What's up? You're hanging out with Keith in the community corner. Get into our next story over on LinkedIn. You're not her emotional life coach. No way, baby. Coleman Housefield came through with a message a lot of men need to hear, especially the ones trying to get it right in relationships. Your wife's happiness is not your responsibility. No, that line alone just starts a fire in the comments. But the guy backs it up. Too many men have been told if she's not happy, you must be doing something wrong. Well, that mindset doesn't build connection. It builds pressure, resentment, burnout. Coleman flips it. If you're responsible to your partner, not for her emotion. Do you agree? What's one relationship belief you've had to unlearn to show up better? Ask yourself that. All right, there we go. There's the community corner. Follow us on Substack and LinkedIn, inside.baffle.ai and LinkedIn, Keith Billis, Mornings in the Lab. And tag us on your next post. Guys, tag us on your next post. We might pull it out of the feed and we might even feature it on the show. We're watching you. We want to hear from you. That's what we do here in the lab. Okay, Jim, let's keep it going, brother. Let's get over to the creator spotlight. Let's keep it started over on LinkedIn. A lot of men feel like they've been failing and they can't even explain why. Like, oh my fucking God, I'm failing. They're not blowing up their lives. They're showing up. They're trying. But behind the scenes, it's a slow leak, resentment, guilt, disconnection, failure. And deep down, they know. Deep down, they know they're not the man they want to be. It's not just about marriage or parenting. It's about identity. It's about finally facing what's underneath and choosing a different path forward. There's a creator out there helping men do that work without shame, without fluff, and without wasting a decade on a therapy coach. He's trained in trauma recovery, grounded in real life experience, and speaks directly to the man who's tired of pretending he's fine. He's a former therapist turned coach. He's an expert in trauma healing and porn recovery. He's the founder of the Unbound community, and he's guiding men to show up fully in marriage, fatherhood, and life. Jimmy, his name is Michael Anderson, and his mission is fucking simple. It's simple, guys, to help men heal their wounds, lead with heart, and become someone their families can count on. Michael isn't interested in building a platform, he's building a movement. If you're a man ready to stop numbing out or someone who cares about helping men rise, I invite you to follow Michael Anderson on LinkedIn. And Michael, here's how it works, brother. Would love to have you on my show. Would love to have you celebrate somebody in your orbit, because I know there's somebody in your orbit worth celebrating on the next Community Corner on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, Jimmy, we got the energy going, brother. The energy's going. What's up, Bernard? I see you. Bernard Artist. Thanks for joining me on the show here today, guys. Hey, just a reminder. We got the Mornings in the Lab paid community up now. I'm not asking you for anything, you guys, just telling you all about it. We got 3 levels. 3 levels. Circle of Champions, something and something. $3, $10, $20. Your money goes to support the growth of the show, not my pocket. True story. Jimmy, let's keep it going, brother. Let's keep it going. Guys, I'm busy pressing buttons, which is why you hear the silence. You hear the silence of the buttons. Who says reinvention? No, let's do this one. Yeah, here we go. Who says reinvention has an expiration date, Jimmy? Who says? Who says it? Because, oh, I almost dropped his name, Jimmy. Jimmy, I almost dropped his name. I almost revealed the person we're celebrating. I almost revealed the next creator in the creator spotlight. Because this guy is proving that your 50s might just be your most powerful chapter yet. Too many professionals hit midlife and feel boxed in, chained to careers that no longer excite them. You know who you are. You fucking know who you are. You're stuck. You're hating it. The 9-to-5 grind wearing you down. Skills going underused, and the dream of travel or freedom feels further away, not closer. I want to go on vacation because I'm stuck at my fucking job. Get a new job, get a new life. That's what you might want to do. What if the second half of your life could be your most liberated? What? Why don't you focus on the first half of your life being liberated? Well, I'll tell you. That's the mission of one creator who walked away from burnout and built a new life on his terms, one that blends income, travel, wellness, and community. He doesn't just talk about freedom. No, baby. He teaches others how to create freedom. And his methods are simple, proven, and tailor-made for people who still have so much more to offer. This guy's a former scientist turned solopreneur. He's the author of 3 ebooks on monetizing audiences. Jimmy, I should talk to this guy. He's lived abroad for 20 plus years. Abroad? Jimmy, why do we call it abroad? Lived a man. Lived abroad for 20 plus years. Leaves a thriving 5,000 plus subscriber community over on Substack. And Jimmy, this dude's just getting started. Morning to the lab with Keith and friends. Excited to introduce you to Jerry Keska, the creator of the Plus 50 Forward. What's up, Jerry? He helps people over 50 turn their experience into lifestyle-friendly incomes without tech overwhelm or hustle culture pressure. Whether it's building a digital business, traveling the world, or reclaiming your health, this motherfucker, Jerry, is the guide for the second half of life. So, if you're in your 50s and wondering what's next, see ya. I'm kidding. Stop waiting. I invite you to follow Jerry's journey and start designing a life that actually works for you. Jimmy, that was fun, man. I love that shit. All right. Let's do this. Woo! Okay, we're coming up to the top of the second hour, Jim. And I think it's time for us to get the hell out of here. Get on with the day. B-Drive, what's going on this weekend? Batshit, what's going on this weekend? Holroyd, what's going on this weekend? Jimmy, let's throw some questions out to the community before we wrap up here today. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, brand new segment. Just brand new fucking segment just launched on the show. It's called Ask the Community What to Do this weekend. Just like that. That's how my brain works. Yeah, let's just ask. What's up? Good time. Good to see you there, pal. Hey, be driven. Guess what? The Mornings in the Lab store is launching on Monday. It's actually up right now if you guys go find it. So I've been making some merch too. Digital merch. Just putting my logo on shit. True story. Yeah. Expensive, awesome hats and t-shirts and shit. The Mornings in the Lab is coming. What's going on? Good time. What are you doing this weekend? Be Driven's going to pack some orders. Be Driven, looking forward to having you on the show in the future, man. Holroyd, what are you up to this weekend? Lady Drew, what are you up to this weekend? Brophy, what are you up to this weekend? I want to hear from you guys. Roofy, what are you up to this weekend? I know what you're up to this weekend. Yeah. So guys, little Mornings in the Lab playbook. I expect by Monday we're going to have the store launched. Expect by what else? I had something that I expect was going to be done by July, but I kind of forgot. Yeah, true story. It's good time. I didn't ask for a weather. Good time. I did not ask for the weather forecast. I asked what you were doing this weekend. Jimmy, he's like, it's going to rain. I don't give a fuck if it's going to rain. What are you doing this weekend? Yeah, so Adam, I was looking at the hats. So was I. And I was making them last night. I'm liking the black one. I also like the potential. Yeah, so listen, dude. Potential of purpose came from our guest yesterday, JK. Dude, solid guy. So good times getting wet. Yeah, Adam, don't buy anything yet. I'm just still working on things. I'll let you know. And I'm going to send you a text. We're going to catch this weekend here, pal. But what's good time? What's Lady Drew doing? I'm spending some quality time with my children, 3 dogs, and my cat. Oh, I love that, Lady Drew. That's fantastic. Lady Drew, how old are your kids? And then we have B Drive coming back with my store open last week, and we're adding to it pretty steadily. Designs coming up next in vendor tabs. Hey, B Drive, Bernard, drop your store in the links. Yeah. B Drive, why don't you drop your store in the comments so Jimmy can promote it? We'll push it out there for you, brother. For sure we will. 100%. Love to do that. I'll tell you guys what I'm doing this weekend. So, I'll tell you guys exactly what I'm doing this weekend. Building my show. I'm building my show. I love building my show. I love building this show. Love it. I fucking love it. I'm going to a 40th birthday party tomorrow night. Yeah. Friend of Lauren's is turning 40. Oh, just to think about being 40 again. Jimmy. Building my show. I'm going to cut the grass. I'm going to spend some time cutting the grass. I've been watering my grass. Hey, you know what, guys? To those of you that are in the Mornings in the Lab private community, Adam, Lady Drew, I'd invite you to go check out the private shorts that I'm making. I didn't say shirts, I said shorts. I am making shorts, private shorts for people in my community. So, if you guys want to know what's going on behind the scenes in my life, I'm going to keep opening the doors to that. So you guys will find that content as a paying member of the Mornings in the Live community. Fuck, it's $3 a month, guys. It's $24 a year. We got Matthew Roof spreading kindness like mono at a frat party. Actually, Maddie, I thought it said fart party when I first saw it. B Drive, thank you, brother. No, B Drive, we need to know the name of the store so we can tell the world about it. Lady Drew, they're not like family, they're my adopted children. I love it. 11, 4, 5, and 1 years. Dude, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. Lady Drew lives in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. One can locate me on LinkedIn, YouTube. Yes. We know where to find you, Lady Drew. Okay, and Roofy is spreading kindness as we know. All right, Jim. Well, we know what everybody's doing. You guys all know what I'm doing. So we're all going to give each other a few minutes back in the day. So guys, listen, I invite you to subscribe to the Mornings in the Live community. We can stay in touch. We're back at it Monday right here, 8 o'clock Eastern time. YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Substack. Up next is Kick, apparently, Jimmy. So, on behalf of everybody here today, including myself, Keith Billis, we're going to get the hell out of here. Come back to you guys on Monday. Right here, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Producer Jimmy, should we go? Should we go? Should we go? Should we go? B Drive, I'll work on LinkedIn as soon as the store is dialed in. That's awesome. B Drive, look forward to connecting with you, brother. All right, let's go, guys. We'll see you guys. Oh, we got somebody here, Sarcastical. Oh, yeah, there we go. Sarcastic Hole. I'm the artist formerly known as Jimmy. Hold on, we're not leaving just yet. We got Ginger Jesus joining us. Jimmy, we know the relationship Uncle Keith has with Sarcastic Hole. Yeah. Sarcastic Hole showed up on the show a couple weeks ago as Ginger Jesus and just fucking threw me under the bus. And I was like, hey, what's going on here? So what did I do, Jimmy? Well, we threw Sarcastic Hole under the bus as well. And then what happened was Sarcastic Hole's like, hey, kind of like this guy. Uncle Keith's maybe not so much of a douchebag or a dick. So Sarcastic Hole subscribes to the channel. Ginger Jesus comes back because we're drinking the same Kool-Aid. Ginger, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate the donation you made a couple weeks back. So kind of you. And hey, I invite you. Hey, Good Time. Good Time. I got to tell you something before you go. I'm trying to figure out how to gift you a subscription because you've been here because you're a troll of mine that I kicked you out of the show on day one. Jimmy and Keith are trying to figure out how we can gift you a subscription. To those of you that didn't get a gift from me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Lady Drew. I'm sorry, Holroyd. You guys beat me to it because you guys bought it first, and I appreciate it. But I want to give Good Time a subscription. So we're going to give one to Good Time. Sarcastical, thanks for hanging out, Ginger. I see you guys, and come back Monday, okay? We're gonna get the hell out of here. We gotta go. My bladder's calling. We'll see you guys on Monday.